What's going on, YouTube? Well, today I kind of wanted to talk about something that a lot of other people have been talking about. And that's what the state of physical media is going to be going forward. A lot of you guys have probably seen some articles or some stuff shared that PlayStation and some other people have announced that physical media sales were down by a lot last year. And I'm saying a lot. I can't remember the percentage off the top of my head. I want to say it was like 40 to 50% down from the year before or prior years. But is it really the consumer? Let's see here. I know a lot of people. Oh gosh. So physical gatekeepers are blaming digital only gamers for future of physical media. That's kind of the topic of the discussion and what's going on. But is it really the digital users that are ruining the physical media? So I kind of got my little thing off to the side here to kind of remind myself what I'm talking about in case I start drifting off. But I've talked about this a lot in the past, and I know that these videos over the last few years have grown massively with the announcement of like Best Buy and a lot of other retail stops getting rid of their physical media section just to fill it up with something else. They're saying sales are down, and they're just wanting to fill it with obviously something else. Now we've seen this a lot. Like I said, I think even Pixel Game Squad did one where they went to a Best Buy and stuff like that, and you weren't really finding as much stuff. Now I know a lot of other channels too have physically gone to Best Buy, Target, and a lot of those places. And yes, they are starting to dwindle down to almost nothing for physical media. It seems like a lot of the stuff that's only left behind now is collectible stuff like steel books and everything that goes along with that. But even that's starting to disappear. We're starting to see more digital codes pop up for games, buying Xbox Game Pass cards, and you know, in a lot of these videos I see, people are starting to point the fingers. They're saying that these digital only people are the reason that these are physical media is disappearing. They're telling us that if you guys would stop buying digital only all the time, we wouldn't have, you know, physical media sales wouldn't be down. But I like to think that it's actually not 100% true in that matter. Now, what do I mean in that? Being as somebody that used to be totally against digital buying, I was always about physical media. I wanted to have all the content, you know, have all my games and everything on physical form. I got every single console. I got all that crap. And yeah, I was totally gatekeeping on keeping everything on original hardware. And it wasn't until I actually started getting some of the mini consoles, even the Switch online with the expansion pack and stuff like that, playing some old games on the Switch itself and through modern consoles, it just really changed things up. And it kind of started opening my mind a little bit more, especially when I modded my Super Nintendo Classic Mini to have other games on it besides the original one. So I had like a very large Super Nintendo library on there, and plus I got to play with a Super Nintendo controller that was, if no one had ever if somebody would have handed that controller to me with my eyes closed, I would have never been able to tell you that that wasn't a Super Nintendo controller, because it really was. It's just modernized. That stuff started opening my eyes to digital media. Now, when it comes to games like this, I am split. I honestly am. I have a PS5 that has a disc drive, but over Black Friday and stuff like that, I purchased a digital-only Xbox Series X, which was something I thought I'd never do. And it's just becoming open-minded a little bit about stuff like that. And honestly, knowing that this is the future. As much as people want to fight it, they will tell you to stop buying digital only and blah, 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 that this will change everything around. But in all honesty, this is what I wanted to talk more about today is these companies are pushing digital only. It's not just us consumers that are buying digital only that's getting rid of physical media. It is the publishers, it is companies themselves that are stopping. They want to stop it. They want to get everything so that it's digital only. And I'm just kind of getting tired a little bit of hearing everybody just blaming digital users. It's not really necessarily their fault, especially when I know a lot of people that were buying physical only consoles, people that were buying the physical disc drive PS5s, but it's hard to buy something that's not in stock ever. How can sales go up if they aren't stocking the product? I saw digital only PS5s all over the place for the longest time, and it took me to download an app to wait for one to come and to use, I think it was a Stock X app or something like that, to let me know when a physical disc drive one would come in stock before I could actually go buy it. It took that. Otherwise, there was digital only ones all over the place, but I did not want a digital one. I wanted a physical one. So is that because the digital only people are forcing that upon us, or because the publishers and creators, manufacturers were like, no, we're not going to, you know what, let's just make these digital only ones. They're cheaper, plus we can get more money for them. And that's really what it comes down to. Digital only consoles are more cost effective. They have less stuff involved with them, and they run the same for the most part. And a lot of times all it takes is for you to download crap for it to work. A lot of people argue that digital only is better, and I'm not going to get into that conversation on this one. I really just kind of, like I said, I'm torn about it. I love having the option for physical media. I love having the option for digital. I just hope that sometime in the future we can coexist these, because it's just crazy. Like I have down here, physical only gamers are blaming the future of physical media on the digital gamers, when in reality companies like Sony and everyone are really pushing digital down our throats. Subscription-based services like Game Pass and PS Plus and Walmart and other retail stores are losing their inventory, and there's a lot more going on. I have pictures on my phone that sometimes I do, like almost progress pictures of when I go to my local Walmart, and just watching how the gaming section is just growing smaller and smaller and smaller. At one point we were down to, I think last time I looked, Xbox Series X had maybe 10 games. They had the thing pretty well stocked, but they only had like 10 different games, and it was like Madden, 2K, some of the most recent kind of ones that had come out, like Elden Ring and everything. But it wasn't like back when you were a kid and there was like 30 to 40 different games, you know, stuck up there and in different slots. It was just kind of just packed in there in the corner a little bit, and that was it. And it was the same with the Sony too. PS4 is obviously starting to dissipate. I think I read an article that pretty soon here they will not be selling any PS4 games out in generic, you know, retail stores. It's just going to be PS5, Xbox Series X, and Switch. And lastly, like I said, these subscription-based services like Game Pass and PlayStation Plus are killer for these companies because they really don't have to do anything. And then on top of that, you have to pay so much a month. I think Game Pass Ultimate right now, if you go month to month, it's about $20. And sure, you get access to a bunch of games, which in all honesty is, for the most part, amazing for a gamer, because like right now I'm playing Indiana Jones. I have Ninja Gaiden 2 Black on downloaded, and on top of that too, there's options for Call of Duty, and I think I just started downloading the Halo Master Chief Collection because I want to start playing Halo again. I have all this for $20 this month. If I really wanted to, I could grind through those games instead of paying, you know, upwards of $200 to get all those. And that's like the generic, like, good reason why digital is a little bit better, especially with these subscription-based things. But in the end, too, that's what these companies are going for. So, I mean, you can blame digital-only people as much as you want, but in reality, these publishers, these manufacturers, these companies are pushing us to go digital only by, once again, not stocking other items. Most of those games that come out, you cannot buy physically. Or, for the most part, you can buy them physically, but you cannot find them in a generic, like I said, retail setting. You have to shop online. You have to go to an actual GameStop or something like that. You can't just go to Walmart like you used to be able to and find it in stock and buy it there, which was amazing. If a new game came out, more than likely, unless it was hyped up or something like that, you were able to go to Walmart right away and get it. That's how it was. Now it's just like, it just seems like you have to go on Amazon, you have to go on GameStop or whatever if you want to purchase it new. And most games that are coming out are starting to go digital only. A big one that we were talking about before, I think it was Alan Wake 2. I think they ended up doing a physical release, but they tried to weasel it in there by saying, hey, we're going to do digital only, but we're going to knock it down to, I think it was 50 or 60 bucks, which is a little bit lower than normal 70. But still, that's a ridiculous amount of money for a digital only thing. And yeah, it didn't work. It's pummeled in sales, and they're trying to, you know, say that it was because other stuff. It was no, because nobody wants digital only options. Another thing we can talk about, obviously a lot of people loved that Black Myth Wukong, and they finally got a physical release a while back. Baldur's Gate 3 was another one. People were forced to buy those digital onlys because otherwise they're going to make you wait months before they get the physical copies out. I, for one, was forced to buy Baldur's Gate 3. I didn't think they were going to do a physical release, so I purchased it a couple weeks after it came out. gotten the digital only, and then they did release a physical option. And lastly, I just kind of want to talk about the Switch situation. Now, I believe Nintendo will be the one that holds out the longest. I think a lot of us are pretty obvious on that. Nintendo, and I believe somebody said the Japanese culture is about owning actual hardware. They want to actually own it physically. Now, obviously, this is still pretty good for like indie companies and stuff because they can make the games and they can easily upload them and they don't have to pay the extra money, which in the end can cause some of those games to be a lot cheaper at launch. But I have a feeling that even like the Switch 2 and stuff like that, they're going to really keep this physical media stuff going. Sony and Microsoft, on the other hand, I almost guarantee at the release of their next console, you know, the PS6, Xbox Series 360 or whatever, you know, whatever the hell they're going to call it, I guarantee that they're probably not going to have a physical option at all. It's going to purely be digital. And any future release from any of those companies right now is going to be digital only when it comes to consoles and hardware. And I sadly, that's the truth. Honestly, that's what I believe is going to be going on from now on. I think Switch 2 is going to hold out. Obviously, they're already talking about being backwards compatible with the Switch 1 and everything. But down the road, who even knows? The Switch 3 might comes out in probably like, what, 8 years or something like that. Who knows by then if we'll even be playing consoles, or they will just have, we'll all be gaming like what Stadia was trying to do, you know, streaming it straight to our TVs. And once again, the digital version will win. So please do not show up at my house with your pitchforks and your torches, physical gatekeepers. I just want to try to open your mind a little bit more to what's going on. Yes, this has kind of been leading up to what we've been going on now, especially with all the digital stuff coming out. But in all honesty, it is not the digital-only people that is really forcing this. It is a lot of the companies themselves. Like I said, sales would obviously be down for physical media if they are not pushing them out and stores are not stocking them. It's not 100% all on digital people. I do know, and I'll get those comments, I know, because people probably won't watch till the end of this video. They'll just see the first 2 minutes and comment this. I do know that if people would stop buying digital-only stuff, it would force their hand at making more physical stuff. But the problem is, with this day and age, I mean, and the next generation of gamers coming along, they are more inclined to want to do digital only because digital only was forced down their throats. And us millennials, we're probably going to be one of the last few consoles to start seeing the physical media. And our kids might even be the last generation to see physical media at all before we switch over to the digital. So with that being said, guys, I want to know in your comments below what you guys think about this. Do you think that the Switch is Nintendo's just going to hold out for the rest of time on having physical media, or do you think they're going to do like Microsoft and Sony and just start really pushing that digital stuff because it's just easier to make and less cost effective, plus they can charge whatever they still want for the games? So with that being said, guys, as always, stay retro, my friends, and we will see you in the next video. God bless, guys.